Children, let us now begin the next chapter, coordinate geometry. Now, in this chapter, we will learn about the axis, origin, quadrant, coordinates of the point in a plane, to plot a point, then equation of the line parallel to the x-axis, equation of the line parallel to the y-axis, and the lines parallel to the x-axis and the y-axis. Now, let us first see about the axis, origin, and the quadrants. Now, we could here to locate a point in a plane, a horizontal number line is drawn in the plane. This number line is called as the x-axis. Now, look at the figure here. This one, so horizontal line which is drawn in a plane is called as the x-axis. Another number line intersecting the x-axis at the point marked O and perpendicular to the x-axis is the y-axis. This number O is represented by the same point on both the number lines. This point is called the origin and is shown by the letter O. On the x-axis, positive numbers are shown on the right of O and the negative numbers are on the left. On y-axis, positive numbers are shown above O and negative numbers below it. Now the x-axis divides the plane into 4 parts and each part is called as the quadrant. The quadrants are numbered in the anti-clockwise direction. So here you can see this is the first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, and this is the fourth quadrant. Now the coordinates of the point in the plane we will see here. The point P is shown in the plane is determined by the x-axis and the y-axis. The coordinate of the point P which lies is 2. In order to determine it, draw the perpendicular from P. It intersects the x-axis at 2. So its x coordinate is 2 and draw the perpendicular on the y-axis Pn. So its y coordinate is 3. Then the point Q lies in the second quadrant. So its x coordinate is, draw the perpendicular from x-axis. So it is -3. So the x coordinate is negative and the y coordinate is positive. Then similarly, any point you take in the third quadrant will have both the coordinates negative. And for the points in the fourth quadrant, the x coordinate will be positive and the y coordinate will be negative. Now any point which lies on the x-axis, like the point S, point M, its y coordinate will be 0. And all the points which are lying on the y-axis will have the x coordinate 0 and the coordinates of the origin is taken as 0, 0. Now write the coordinates of the point E, G, T in the figure alongside. Now here if you look at the figure carefully, if you want to find out the coordinates of the point E, draw the perpendicular on x-axis. So it intersects the x-axis at 2. So its x coordinate is 2. Draw the perpendicular from E on y-axis. It intersects at 1. So its y coordinate is 1. So the coordinates of the point E are 2, 1. Then take a point F. Draw the perpendicular on the x-axis and the y-axis. It intersects at -3 and 3. So the coordinates of the point F are -3, 3. Now coordinates of the point G, draw the perpendicular on x-axis and on the y-axis. It intersects at -4 and -2. So the coordinates are -4, -2. Now take a point T, draw the perpendicular on x-axis and the y-axis. It intersects at 3 and -1. So the coordinates of T are 3 and -1. Now look at this figure. All the points which are lying in the first quadrant will have x and the y coordinate positive. All the points which are lying on the in the second quadrant will have the x coordinate negative and y coordinate positive. All the points which are lying in the third quadrant will have both the coordinates negative, and the points lying in the fourth quadrant will have x coordinate positive and y coordinate negative. If the point lies on the x axis, its x coordinate will be 0. So here you can see all these points here 1 0, 2 0, 3 0, 4 0. So here the y coordinates are 0, and here also on the negative side of the x axis also you can see the y coordinates are 0. Similarly, all the points which are lying on the y axis will have the x coordinate 0. So the coordinates of these points are 0 4, 0 3, 0 2, 0 1, 0 minus 1, 0 minus 2, and so on. And the coordinates of the origin O are 0 0. Now let us see how to plot the points of the given coordinates. Now draw the x-axis and the y-axis on the graph paper. Show the origin. To find the point P 4 3, draw a line parallel to the y-axis through the point on the x-axis which represents the number 4. The point of intersection of these two lines parallel to the y-axis and the x-axis respectively is the point P 4 3. In which quadrant does this point lie? Now the next question is here, this one. Let us see now the practice set 7.1. State in which quadrant or in which axis do the following points lie. Now we know all the points which are lying in the first quadrant have both the coordinates positive. The points which lie in the second quadrant, we have x coordinate negative and the y coordinate positive. All the points which lie in the third quadrant have both the coordinates negative, and the points which lie in the fourth quadrant have x coordinate positive and the y coordinate negative. So the point A minus 3 2 lies in the second quadrant, B minus 5 minus 2 lies in the third quadrant, K 3.5 1.5 both the coordinates are positive lies in the first quadrant, D both the coordinates are positive, so again in the first quadrant, E both the coordinates are positive, so in the first quadrant, F both the points of x coordinate is positive, y negative, so in the fourth quadrant, G x coordinate positive, y negative, so in the fourth quadrant, H 0 minus 5 x coordinate is 0, so lies on the y axis, M 12 0 x y coordinate is positive, y coordinate is 0, so it lies on the x axis, N 0 9 it lies on the y axis, 0 2.5 it lies on the y axis, then Q both the coordinates are negative, it lies in the third quadrant. In which quadrant are the following points? When both the coordinates are positive, it lies in the first quadrant. When both the coordinates are negative, it lies in the third quadrant. Where x coordinate is positive and y coordinate is negative, in the fourth quadrant. Whose x coordinate is negative and y coordinate is positive, in the second quadrant. Now plot these points here. So for plotting the points, first you have to draw the x-axis and the y-axis. Draw the x-axis along the bold line of the graph paper. Then draw the vertical y-axis, name it as y dash. Point of intersection of the two axes, you take it as 0. On the positive side of the x-axis, at a distance of 1 unit each, plot the points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. On the negative side, plot the points -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7. Above the x-axis, on the y-axis take the positive coordinates, and below the x-axis take the negative coordinates -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, and so on. Now, when you have to plot the point M having the coordinates 5, 6, on x-axis take the coordinate 5, move up by 6 units, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this point M, when you draw the perpendicular on the x-axis, you get the 5, so the x-coordinate is 5. And when you draw the perpendicular on the y-axis, the y-coordinate is 6. So coordinates of point M is 5, 6. Then take a point L, coordinates are -2, 4. Now on the x-axis take -2, y coordinate is positive, so move up by 4 units, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then take a point N having the coordinates -3, -4. So on the x-axis, see the x coordinate -3. Since the y coordinate is negative -4, move down by 4 units, 1, 2, 3, 4. This way, after taking the x coordinate on the x-axis, if the y coordinate is negative, you have to move downward by that many units. And if the x coordinate is positive, you have to move up by that many units. Now take a point S having the coordinates 7, 0. Since the x coordinate is 0, y coordinate is 0, the point lies on the x-axis. So on x-axis, see where is that 7 and plot the point 7, 0. Then take a point T having the coordinate 0, -5. Since the x coordinate is 0, the point lies on the y-axis. So here you will get T 0, -5. So the coordinate of the point T is 0 minus, also on the y coordinate at -5, encircle the point. So 0, -5.